Sure, I didn't know who I was or where I was or if I had kids or a wife or anything, but for sure I knew I had to quit my job. I was 90 miles into a 120-mile bike ride. It was this time of year in August, and I was coming down Topanga Canyon. I had left the group. There was probably 20 people with us, and I somehow got ahead of them on the climb and then the descent into what's known as Topanga Canyon, that little community. I stood up to gain some speed as I was going down through town, and this black car came out of nowhere. Whew. And I had this split second of oh my God, this is it. And I had just enough reaction to sort of flinch to the left as my bike went up into the wheel well of the car. My head hit the very corner of the windshield. And the vector force of him coming out and me swerving sent me across the road, and I landed on the curb on the other side of the road, which must have been fun for people to watch. Wow, look at how far that cyclist flew. I lay there unconscious for a long, long time. The guy who was in second, if you will, stopped, took account of everything, made sure people had called 911, started interviewing people. He speaks Japanese, not that he needed it that day, German, Spanish. So he was interviewing some of the people that were there in Spanish, taking pictures and accounting for everything that happened, and he ended up being my lawyer in that case, which took 18 months to resolve. But the interesting thing about that story is I was unconscious for a long time, but I felt like I was dreaming. And then when I came to, I was being interviewed by a CHP officer. What's your name? I don't know. What year is it? I don't know. What city are you in? Well, how do I know? I don't know my name. So we went through those litany of questions, but the one thing that I did know is I knew that I had to quit my job because I had this inner voice in me. So that was the most powerful takeaway from me. In and amongst all the craziness, that I had a brain injury, lots of physical maladies. So I was taken by ambulance to a field, then a helicopter picked me up, took me to UCLA Trauma Center, and where I spent a lot of time trying to pick up the pieces, as it were. But that thing that stuck with me is you have to quit your job. I'm mad at myself for enduring this role that I was playing. And so the great thing is when I sort of had my bearings, I shared that with my wife. I was like, my inner chipmunk told me I had to quit my job. I'm going to quit my job. And she's like, you can't quit. Typically what your partner will say. But I began to orchestrate my exit from that company. So yeah, that the injuries from that, the brain injury, just the craziness of that kind of physical trauma had all sorts of repercussions for me. Really bad ones, physical ones that still I carry with me today. But the interesting thing is, somewhere down the line a couple years ago, the fella that had hit me, the lawyer who wanted to be a judge, reached out to my lawyer, the one I was speaking about earlier, said, hey, I've been burdened by this thought that I've, hurt this person, and I want to know how they're doing. Are they okay? Is Michael all right? And Seth reached out to me and said, hey, the guy who hit you is wondering about you. What should I tell him? I said, just give him my email. So he emailed me and, expressed his sorrow and the pain that had been carrying with him for hurting somebody. And said, can I buy you a bike? Can I do anything? I just want to make this right. And I had the ability to say to him, I don't want you to ever worry another moment about me. Yes, it changed me, but mostly for the better. Maybe not my body, but you forced me to address, the injuries and what happened to me forced me to address the unhappiness that I was experiencing in my job. It forced me to get outside of my comfort zone, forced me to take a new role with a company and to align my life with the things that I love. So you sort of gave me a gift in the most odd and random way. So no, you don't need to buy me a bike. No, you never need to feel bad again. yes, we can celebrate that these weird things in life can actually be turned into great things. And we sort of did a digital high five, and we both felt better after that.